Brazil, a nation that takes great pride in their football. They've definitely been the best of the best with the best of the best. And they've definitely had their low points in time. They're very, very low points. Hey guys, this is Finia. That is of course FYNN. And thank you so much for the recent support on this channel. It has been crazy. For the last 4 or 5 videos, I've gotten over 100 views per video, which I know that's not big for a big YouTuber, but to me it means a lot and I really do appreciate it. Once again guys, if everyone who watches this just shared it with one person, it would help me out massively. So yeah, you really could just change my world by sharing this with just one friend who supports football. But guys, the Premier League is full of some amazing Brazilian players, but of course there isn't a player in every position, so I have moved some guys around just so that it does fit in a tiny bit better, and I hope you guys do understand. Please don't be upset with me, please. But yeah guys, let's get straight into this list. First off, in the goalkeeper position, yeah, I could mention someone like Gomez, of course, on the bench. Of course I wouldn't name him in the starting lineup, who is playing at Watford because he did play almost 100 league appearances for Spurs, the Brazilian goalkeeper. But I do have to say I am probably going to go with Alisson. I think Alisson's going to be the best one over Ederson because, let's be honest, Ederson and Alisson, the fact that they both play for Brazil, I mean, Brazil have 2 amazing goalkeepers on their hands. I mean, Ederson, the fact that he's gotten 2 consecutive Premier Leagues and he still does make the list over Alisson, I mean, that just shows you how good they are. And Alisson, I mean, everyone was like, who is the man with the beard who's playing ahead of Ederson in the 2018 World Cup? You know, something along the lines of that. Just to realize that it's Roma's very own Alisson. Well, it's not the very own. He didn't grow up in Rome. He's Brazilian. But yeah, the fact that he came from Roma now and that he's doing so well. I mean, 3 different Golden Glove awards from 3 different competitions last season alone. I mean, 3 in a season, that is incredible. I mean, for a goalkeeper to achieve something like that definitely does make him one of the best in the world. And I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think? Would you say Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment? I want your guys' answers in the comment section. That's going to be my question of the day. Just a yes or no on the Alisson being best in the world. And before I go into the defense, guys, I'm trying to make this as Brazilian as possible, so I searched everywhere to find good Brazilian non-copy strike music. Appreciate the work I put in for you guys. Okay, now we go on to the defense. As I said, not every position there is available because there's only 2 Brazilian defenders that I could find in the Premier League. And to be honest, I'm not going to put one of them in because it's a left back from Brighton, and I don't necessarily consider that the best of the best, if you know what I mean.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So first of all, I am going to put Fabinho. Fabinho is a year younger than Alisson, which is weird. Alisson 27, Fabinho 26. Fabinho does not look 26. That man looks like he could offer you a car at a dealership. I mean, let's be 100% honest. But the 26-year-old's achieved great things at his age. I mean, Liverpool, of course, done a super job at him, winning the Champions League with them. Of course, winning the Super Cup. He's been loaned out to Real Madrid before. And of course, he's won the league title with Monaco. Now, do you think he's going to win the league with Liverpool? Of course, those first 2, of course, excellent Brazilians from Liverpool. Next one is going to be an actual defender in David Luiz, the 32-year-old, over 150 appearances for Chelsea, which is really incredible. Of course, Chelsea fans won't be a huge fan of him anymore because he has moved to the dark side, what they consider Arsenal, the other side of London, which of course, I mean, they're not going to be a huge fan of him. But you have to admit, David Luiz has had a pretty incredible career. If you think about the players he's played with in Brazil, he's played with Neymar, he's played with Kaká, and of course at PSG, we forget he played with the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the Lion himself. Yeah, but David Luiz, I mean, people also forget in the 2014 World Cup when Thiago Silva was injured, David Luiz was the captain when they lost 7-1 to Brazil. Not the highlight of his career by any means. I mean, that man's got a head of hair on him. He himself should be the Lion, but no, Zlatan.
I am a lion.
I do have to say, when it comes to getting forward as a defender, David Luiz is the man. And I think he's had a very successful career so far, and he can sit down at the end of the day and say, I did well. Okay, now last defender, of course, once again, a holding midfielder who could also go back in defense, has to be Fernandinho from Manchester City. Of course, I mean, getting back-to-back, or he's won pretty much everything that Manchester City has. He's been there since the very beginning. And I mean, before that, he was even the player of the season, whatever, in the Ukrainian team when he played for Shakhtar. And I mean, that's an incredible stat. 200 league appearances for Manchester City. That is incredible, guys. Now, as I said, there are two holding midfielders in there. Even though I've moved them to centre-backs just because of how many defenders there are in the Premier League that are Brazilian. But guys, tell me, what do you think about the defence so far? Do you think this is a very strong defence, a Brazilian defence in the Premier League? If you created this, I mean, I think it's better than some that are out there currently. Now we move on to the midfielders. There aren't a lot of pure midfielders, especially now that I've moved Fernandinho and Fabinho back. So I've put lots of left mids and right mids and wings in this midfield. And if you don't know, I'm playing 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 2 forwards. Okay, first midfielder, we are going to start off with the 27-year-old Lucas. The man's the same age as Jesse Lingard. I mean, Jesse Lingard, you're still an exciting prospect, aren't you? But yeah, Lucas, over 150 appearances for PSG, proved very promising. And he's been able to fit into that Spurs defense or Spurs midfield and attack way better than anyone thought they would. Everyone laughed a tiny bit when he moved to Spurs because they didn't think he'll do that well. But I mean, after getting that hat-trick to get Spurs through to the final of the Champions League last season, I mean, it proves without a doubt that he's definitely worth it in the team. And I think he's an incredible midfielder overall. Okay, so the next midfielder has to be Richarlison. Once again, also plays on the wing or striker position, but I've put him in the midfielder just because. Richarlison, I mean, I think everyone was a bit surprised when they saw Everton bringing in great players and then they brought in Richarlison. But Richarlison, almost throughout the whole of last season, was able to compete for Golden Boot. Yes, he didn't win it and he did fall back a tiny bit, but I mean, he's still young and I think he had an incredible debut season last season at Everton. And of course, he's having an okay start already to this season with Everton, but Everton themselves are not, of course, having a good start, which if you don't know, I do a weekly prediction series for the Premier League with my fantasy team. Link in the description below. Go follow it. Subscribe if you do like, subscribe if you don't, please. Yeah, of course, I'm just joking, but yeah, at the end of the day, Richarlison, of course, got his chance in the Copa America, ended up winning the Copa America with Brazil. Very accomplished at his young age already. Pereira from Manchester United. I'm going to only put one of the Brazilian midfielders in there because God knows I'm not putting Fred in there because Fred can't even make the normal Manchester United team, no matter the Brazilian version of the Premier League. But yeah, I have to put Pereira in there because I think he's done so well for Manchester United, really starting to break more and more into this team. And really, now that he's playing less on the wing and more in a number 10 or attacking midfielder position, he's really proving himself more and more. And I think he's really showing that he's a really good midfielder and an exciting prospect still for Manchester United. He is 23, but I think he still has a lot to prove. He did start off in the under 17 or even the younger ages for the Belgian international team, but as a senior, he started playing for the Brazilian one, which is pretty cool. Well done to Pereira. Second last midfielder, once again, also a winger, but can play in the midfield. Felipe Anderson. I mean, I think everyone was shocked when West Ham got Lazio's Felipe Anderson. I mean, look, the man's done so much for West Ham already. I mean, when it comes to just on the ball and off the ball attack, I think Anderson is your man. And as I said, I think everyone was surprised when someone like him that was a big profile at Lazio, that was really breaking into the team, moved to a team like West Ham. But I think overall, he's just a vital element to West Ham. Last midfielder is going to be Willian. Willian, of course, with Pedro on that right wing side. When you play either of them, you know just the veteranness. Is that a word, veteranness, to describe someone who's a veteran? Let's call them a veteran. Their experience, their experience is incredible, and I really do have to say, Willian, overall, I mean, he was also player of the season at Shakhtar. He's been player of the year for Chelsea, players player multiple times. I think he's an incredible player for Chelsea. Over 208 appearances. That Brazilian deserves to be in the team. Okay, guys, now that I've said the midfielders, what do you think about the midfielders? Do you think they're good? Now to get into the two attackers. Okay, now before I get into it, I do want to say it's a centre forward and a striker. Centre forward has to be Firmino. Bobby Firmino, I think he's so underrated in that front three of Liverpool. Most people would probably say their favourite is Salah or Mane, but I do have to say Firmino is probably the glue that holds it together. There's so much work he does on and off the ball that really just shows his kind of attacking professionalism. And if you just look at his stats overall, he gets a goal in 1 in every 3 games, over or just reaching 150 league games for Liverpool with just over 50 goals. The highest scoring Brazilian in the Premier League at the moment, and I think he should really be proud of himself. Lots of people have always underrated him because even before Salah and Mane, we did have Coutinho there and people looked over him after after them. But you know what? Now that he's in the big boys league, everyone's like, whoa, who is that with the bright team? Yes, it is Bobby Firmino, the man with the brightest teeth. And of course, if you didn't know, it's quite a funny stat. Apparently, when he went to go get his teeth done, the doctor or the dentist said, these are the shades you can get your teeth. And he said, I want my own custom one as white as possible. And then once he got there, apparently Jurgen Klopp liked them so much, he went to go get his teeth done. And boom, isn't that a beautiful love story? Okay, now for my striker, it is going to be Gabriel Jesus, the man who's going to be the successor of Sergio Aguero at Manchester City. And I mean, look, already Gabriel Jesus has gotten 74 appearances for City. It feels like he's just moved to City. We forget that he just like appeared and everyone was like, what a weird transfer. But he's done so well. Already 74 league appearances for City, which is absolutely insane. And already 37 appearances for Brazil. I mean, that man is going to be a superstar. And also just a question out of interest. Do you guys think Sergio Aguero is Manchester City's best ever player of all time? That's just my interest. I want to know. Of course, on the bench, I could name that Newcastle Brazilian striker, but he hasn't achieved too much. And Wesley, I could have mentioned at Aston Villa. Of course, he hasn't mentioned too much, but it's quite an interesting story. I'll leave the link to in the description below of his just life story in general. It's quite cool. If you guys don't know, he lost his father at the age of 9. He became a father himself at the age of 14, had a second child at 16, and now at the age of 22, he is worth £22 million, which I think is an absolutely incredible story. But guys, tell me, what do you think about this squad of Brazilians in the Premier League? Where do you guys think this team would end on the table? Do you think they would break into the top 10 of the Premier League if this was an actual team? I'm just interested to know. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Tell me if you guys want to do another nation, if I should do, well, best English players might be a bit easy, but best French or best whatever. I want you guys to tell me. Once again, guys, if everyone here could just share this video, it would be amazing so I could grow this channel, because I really love making this for you guys. And I like interacting with you guys in the comment section. But once again, guys, stay awesome. Love every single one of you. This has been Finn, FYNN. Stay awesome. Cheers.